Hi, welcome back to Smoking Cheltenham. How you doing? Yeah, back in conservatory today. I've got that sun, so I can't see you that great. At least it's a bit warmer, eh? Anyway, yeah, it's not bad today. I hope you had a good weekend then. I hope you found some winners. Uh, as you might have gathered, I thought it looked a bit tricky and I struggled a bit myself. Yeah, that'd be my first losing week of the season, but you can't win every time. I kind of knew it was odds low, weren't it? First time I had a chance to like preview it all. I looked at it and I thought, and the couple of things I did sort of feel confident about, I got wrong, like, as you do. Um, I always say I get more wrong than right. But anyway, it were great watch show, weren't it? There was some racing this week, and it were brilliant. Um, Hopefully, you kept it small. You know, maybe you didn't. Maybe you really fancied it and did really well. You got loads to look back on. I mean, these like Willie's stable tours out today. I've not even had a chance to look at it. It would be a touch and go if we could get this done on time. So we'll crack on. I've only got about an hour or so just one flask then, eh? Right, we'll go back to Friday. Tipperary going was soft yielding to soft in places. Two more beginners, only by night. It was in this race. I didn't even notice, to be honest. Beat Mirazor West by 6.5 lengths. Yeah, that's how much attention I saw Mirazor West there and saw a bit short and thought no, but then I didn't take the next step and think, oh, about taking him on, I just thought I'd watch it. But anyway, yeah, Mirazor West led. Only by night started in second, but drifted back into third over the first few. Westport Cove took that second place. Mirazor West, he went right, didn't he? At the fourth, the fifth, sixth out. 4 out, he was slow and joined by Westport Cove. Only by night was only 2 behind or so in third. Mirazor West went right, 3 out. On the run to second, only by night started to come under a bit of pressure, sort of 3 behind or so. Mirazor West, he went right again there, enabling Westport Cove to go 2 up or so. But approaching the last, Mirazor West appeared to be going much the best, like he was travelling all over Westport Cove and drew level with him. Just behind, though, he may not have seen, only by night was building up a head of steam there. She flew the last, where Mirazor West again went right, and she went away for a convincing victory. Now, only by night, yeah, she made a bright start last season, didn't she? Before disappointing in her last few starts, she could have come back a stronger mare this year. She certainly improved for the fences. Yeah, she jumped great here. She tried 2.5 once last year and disappointed there, but she weren't in the best of form at the time, so I wouldn't draw any firm conclusions there. She could develop into a mare's chase contender this year. Yeah, she did this well. Mirazor West, after watching him here, you couldn't have Cheltenham on your mind, could you? I'd suggest you just follow him right-handed until he proves otherwise. He should come on plenty for this. And yeah, right-handed next time in beginners. Yeah. Yeah, I like him. I've got a soft spot for him, but he's just one of them horses, isn't he? You couldn't be backing him for Cheltenham. He could be classy going right-handed, though. He could. Right then, just a quick mention, the 2 7.5 beginners, yeah, I gave Claytus Pool as a selection there, didn't I? I gave him a good mention. That went well, didn't it? Yeah, he was jumping fine, but definitely a little bit right. And like, yeah, he jumped the fifth fine, but he just slipped on landing. I'd have some reservations about backing him left-handed after this, I suppose. But providing he's not done himself any damage, I'd still be keen to give him another chance, preferably right-handed. I think these were all kind of handicappers here. Sammer Jess just narrowly prevailed. Um, some of these could find themselves in that 3 mile 6 handicap at Cheltenham. I'm not calling it the 4 miler anymore because it's not. They've destroyed it, haven't they? Yeah, it's just. Oh, can't get onto that. We've not enough time. But I mean, the crossover with that and the Kim Yor. Do you really need a 3 mile 6 handicap and a 3 mile 2.5 handicap? Chase. Yeah. But yeah, that's Friday anyway. Yeah, Clayton's pool. I do think he could improve plenty. He could improve a lot this year, but we'll have to see. Hopefully, he's come out of this all right. Right then, on to Saturday. Ascot, the going were good. 2 mile 3.5 grade 2 Ascot hurdle, lucky place, beat Blue King Daru a length. For much of the race, lucky place sat second, travelling the leader, who was Blue King Daru. Swinging for home, he just briefly looked to get tapped for toe, possibly, and kind of dropped to last, but he was still only like 2 or 3 lengths behind. He picked up well in the straight, hit the front over the last, and stayed on well for a cosy success. Oh yeah, just a no. I just thought the ground looked a shade softer than good, but it weren't bottomless or anything, but it didn't look good. I didn't think. Yeah, he's a 5-year-old and he's really progressive. He ran a blinder in the Coral Cup, didn't he? When much of Nicky's, weren't in bad form. He ran well. He came fourth, beaten just under 5 lengths there behind Langadan, and he was staying on well to the line. He hasn't gone 3 mile yet, but he promises to stay, and he may even improve for it. Connections was sort of saying Rel Keel and onto the stayers maybe as a plan for him. Yeah. Golden Ace, yeah, Mare's novice hurdle winner. She lost her unbeaten record here, but she didn't lose much in defeat, I didn't think. She held up in the rear, but never really more than 5 or so behind. She came there travelling well, and between the last two, possibly looked the likely winner for a while, but soon came under pressure and just kind of flattened out after the last. Yeah, she's very pacey, isn't she? I have a suspicion she might be most effective at 2 mile, but she does have a victory over 2.5, and she'd reportedly suffered a small setback, so she might well have needed this more than most. She could come on a lot from this. Yeah, as I say, I don't think she's lost much in defeat here. In a mares, I'd suspect she may struggle to confirm that form with brighter days ahead, and Jade DeGrugy if they all rocked up there. I kind of doubt they will. I think she might end up in the champion hurdle, and I think she could be a player there. I do. She's got a wicked turn of foot, hasn't she? Yeah. Just a quick mention. Yeah, we'll do A-Duck. That was soft, good to soft in places. He went soft after race 1. A-Duck soft's like, I don't know. It's just a place. in on itself into A-Dock. Softer A-Dock's like bottomless anywhere else. It takes some getting. If this was soft, I don't know what heavy looks like, but the times would back up it was soft, but they were struggling to get home here, weren't they? Yeah, I just mentioned the horse. I just want to give a quick mention to Beat the Bat. He ran second, beat 3 length in the 2 mile 3 handicap hurdle. He only ran 3 times last season. He ran well to be second in a maiden, then he got the better. Welcome to Cartries. And then he bumped into Dysot Enos, trying to give a £7. He went down by 2 3/4 lengths there. He was 125. He got put up 7 for that to 132. That were in December though. This has been his first run for like nearly a year, and I'd say it was an encouraging one. He could come on plenty for this, and he could be one to look for next time in a handicap hurdle somewhere. Got loads of notes today. Right, 2 mile 5.5 graduation chase. Trelawney beat Iroko half a length with deafening silence. Another 12 length back in third. Trelawney shared it early with Hillcrest until the 9th, where he went on. He reached for the 11th and kind of got in Hillcrest's way there, which I think kind of forced Hillcrest into an error. Turning into the straight, Tom asked him 4 out. He did, and Trelawney answered with a fantastic leap there. He used that momentum and kicked a few lengths clear. He got in close to the last and he hit that, and he hit it a fair way down. Thankfully for him and his connections and supporters, the Haydock fencers of today are much more forgiving than the big dark fencers of years gone by. But that mistake allowed Iroko to close within a length or so. They kind of duelled up the straight. Iroko got to within a head, but in the last 50 yards or so, Trelawney won going away again. A fine ride by Tom Bellamy, this it was. I backed this fella in the Ultimate. I did, the one and only time I backed him, and he looked like some sort of rodeo horse there. He came down at the second. But it makes me feel a bit better now. He's beat a grade 1 horse here, and he weighed £8 wrong at the weights as well. He's got a lot of small field form, hasn't he? I just wonder if maybe he's a little claustrophobic, maybe he doesn't like the big fields. Just kind of speculating there. He could have been somewhere else, I suppose, that day. It's maybe something to bear in mind. He did win a 14-run handicap hurdle. It was very handy, and he's ridden handy, so he's never got many horses around him. The connections of the first two, I think, were both suggesting Cotswold Chase and then the National. Now, personally, I'm not a fan of that Cotswold Chase as a prep for anything. If it gets heavy there, I think horses can often leave the season there. It can turn into real gruel of that. So I won't be a fan of that as a prep for anything, really. Iroko, he was settled off the pace. He was put into it fairly late. Connections will be delighted with this. They will, in an ideal world, they'd have liked to length better, They'd have preferred him to win half than lose half. But they've done no harm to his mark here. That's not going up. Yeah, just that prep I'd question, this is like stage 1 ticked off in it for his National. The mission they've been given there by JP and the boys. Cotswold Chase, I'm not a fan of that for prepping now, but we'll see. Maybe they'll have a change of heart. And just a quick mention, Deafening. I mean, these were two decent horses. Deafening Silence, you know, he, not sure. I think it's an E, to be fair. Yeah, he ran a fair race here on his seasonal reappearance. He's been off a fair while, and I'd imagine Connections are happy enough with this. This was a good starting point. He's got potential going forward. Right, the 3 mile class 1 handicap hurdle. Shoot First beat One Big Bang 2 3/4 lengths. Yeah, I put one Big Bang up. I won him, and I did top up a little bit on him when I saw the ground. Big gamble on this fella, weren't they? He finished 11-4. Say, I last saw you were like 8s. I've got a bit better than that on Betfair. Only 5 finished here. This is how much a test it were Saturday at Haydock. He took this out at 22-1. I mean, Charles Burns' horse, you know, when he drifted out to that price, like I say, I was really scared of this guy. When I saw the big drift, I thought, oh, we're okay here, like, but I don't know. Maybe he's playing 4D chess or something. They're all on at SP here, I don't know. He took this off 139. He were conceding £17 to the runner-up here in this ground. I think this were a big performance, this. Now, I mentioned Lucky Place earlier. Now, you look at this Stayers hurdle, there's nothing behind Teapot, and the market looks wrong to me. It does. I'm not putting anything up just yet, but if you were book building, I'd have a serious look at these 3 anyway. We've got Lucky Place 25s, 4th in a Coral Cup. Yeah, Stayers looks to be on his radar now. You know, just don't know with a 3 mile yet, but he does promise, you know. The Wall Park 33s, yeah, if you remember, we gave him a good mention before. He took out a qualifier at Cheltenham. You know, these have all got track form, these 3 horses, these 33s, and his running style I really like for Stayers hurdler. He just had that, you know, where he hits that little flat spot and he just bounded up the hill. Yeah, he's made for Cheltenham. And Shoot First, this fella's 50s. They were taught he'd have won that Potence, wouldn't he? He would have done. I think this has finally proven that point. I mean, he stays well. Stamina's no issues to him. He's won a qualifier at the track, so he's got the track form. He just, you know, he's had a year out, and he's had all that time off injured, and that'd just make you think twice about backing him ante-post. But he getting some compensation there in his price at 50s. Yeah, I think they're all really interested in. Obviously, Teapot dominates that market, and he may well dominate the race as well. But he's only one horse, isn't he? And behind that, you know, I don't think these 3 kind of stand out to me as horses that are sort of coming through progressive that could make into them into a Stayers hurdle horse, and they're big prices, aren't they? So that's worth pondering anyway. Let's say Betfair Chase. Wow, well, I'm doing good. I'm cutting down onto 20 minutes, so I'm not sparked up yet, have I? I'm not really going down. But 3 mile 1.5 Betfair Chase. Royal Piguet beat Grey Dawn in 2 lengths here, and they were 10 clear of Brave Man's Game. Royal Piguet led, got close to the second, careful at like the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 9th, close to the 11th, close to the 14th. Yeah, didn't jump great, yeah. But he's coming off that shoulder injury. Long run to 4 out. Yeah, he wound it up, keen to make it a stamina test. Got close to 4 out. On the approach to 2 out, Grey Dawning were just nursed into the race, weren't he, by Harry? He were just at pains not to go too soon, weren't he? And preserve every inch of stamina. As it turns out, he maybe should have left it till after the last, but it may not have been any different anyway. I mean, it looked a fair ride, to be fair. You know, he did eventually ask him on the approach to the last, and he responded and went a couple of lengths clear. But it was like that little burst just bottomed him out. He kind of got close to the last and ran down it, allowing Royal Brigade to re-challenge and go past him again. This was a war, it were, and both of these finished legless, Royal Brigade, this was his Gold Cup, and what a fantastic training performance this were from Venetia. To come back from like a fractured shoulder to take this out. Maybe, we saw the effects of that with his jumping, which were, I'd say, careful, Rest of the season, no, this was his Gold Cup, weren't it? But, the Yost connections, nothing, does he? And, yeah, this good. Grey Dawning is exuberant, isn't he? He is. He threw in some breathtaking leaps here. You can't but love this horse. He does stay. He does. I mean, Jesus, this was some staying test. He stays. But you do wonder, don't you, watching him, if he were allowed to rock from the front in a Ryanair and use that fantastic jumping, I'd say he's improved again this season. You would. You can't but like this horse. He's hugely likeable. But what happened 24 hours later? Where would he finish in that race? You'd be hard pushed to say better than fifth, I think, But yeah, he's a lovely horse. This were a brutal race first time out, and I'm never a fan of that. You'd never know, that can leave a mark for the season. I think Dan says King George now, he's going to give him plenty of time, so he's going to do the right thing by the horse. So I think it'll be the spring again before we see him. But yeah, fantastic race, weren't it? Bunchester. Oh, 23 minutes, here we go. So a new record there. Right, 2 mile 3.5 maiden hurdle. Butch Cassidy, class name, beat Sermons Durac, not such a class name, by half a length. We shuffle the deck. Yeah, I like that name. Another 5 length back in third. It's funny names, isn't it? But you don't get a horse called Bert winning the Gold Cup, do you? I don't know. It's me being daft, but yeah, some names you get attracted to. And yeah, Butch Cassidy's a good name. Right, yeah, he was always kind of prominent out wide. Right, just forgive me, I'm running a bit short of time, so I haven't gone into as much detail with the races from here, really. But I've done my best. Yeah, he was always kind of prominent out wide. 2 out, he went on with Sermons Direct, who looked to be travelling the best. Now, Butch Cassidy wouldn't go away, though. They jumped the last up sides, and Butch Cassidy edged ahead on the running. I don't think he were doing much in front here. I think he won a little cosier than it looked. He'll come on a ton for this. I like this horse, I do. I do. He's a fine, big-looking horse. Loads of scope. Looks raw still. Um, Cheltenham, no, not for this year, but I do really like him. 2026 Browns. He's the first name on that list. Yeah, next year's horse, but he's going to be exciting. I'd suggest over fences. He's going to make a fine staying chaser. Yeah, I kind of fell for him a bit. Saturday, I thought he was nice. Sermons Dirac, he ran well. He's a Goffs winner, isn't he? Maiden will be a formality for him, but kind of, from coming off a point to point, I sort of think maybe the winner and the third have maybe got the greater potential for the future. Might be wrong, that's just my thoughts. I did like the third Shuffle the Deck. He was settled a little further back in kind of mid-division. Made a mess of 3 out. I thought this were a really promising debut for Ted Walsh. It were. And the national dream's alive with him. 2026 Kim Muir and Grand National double could be on the cards for Shuffle the Deck. Things that go on inside his head. No kidding. Right then, the 2 mile 3 beginners. Ballyburn beat Castle Demotts 13 lengths here. Led all the way, jumped fine. He measured his fences well, didn't he? I'd say he's an intelligent horse, isn't he, this guy? Last year, he was different gear to all the other novices, weren't he? And there's nothing to suggest here, we've seen, that he won't be again in novice company. Turner's were his race, weren't it? It were. But going from what Willie said after the race, I don't think the Browns is on his mind. I think it's the Arkle. He mentioned the new Grade 2 at Nace in early January, 2 mile. That should be a cracking race. It should. We'll learn more up in grade. 2-1 for the Arkle. We're just going to miss this guy, aren't we? I just can't get on him. The Ballyburn master plan just made that small mistake. It should have been any race. I thought it were going supreme. Didn't do any harm, but we're not on him, are we? It just started raining, so I apologise for the rain there. It were a nicer day anyway. I can't put him up to 2s for an Arkle. Say he might just get away from us, this horse. It's a shame, but it'll just be one of them races we just have to sit back and enjoy, and try and make it right for the year after. I don't. You need to see these conditions for this new Turners. It's, as far as I know, it's a limited handicap with no ceiling, which limits the weight range, doesn't it? I just don't know in my head, because he's got that many Willie Antes. He's got plenty for an Arkle without Ballyburn. I don't think he wants to run him in a Browns. It's what, a £12 weight range? Put this fucking guy in at top weight. I don't know. So maybe that's just a reason not to go smashing in for the Arkle as well, because I'd wreck everybody's plans, wouldn't it, that? But until I see it in black and white, I don't know. From what I know, yeah, it's a limited handicap with no ceiling, and if that is true, there's no reason I don't think, Ballyburn couldn't run him that under top weight. And what's going to beat him, getting, £12 maximum. I mean, what's going to run against him? It'd be funny in a way, wouldn't it? Fucking about with all these races. I mean, why? Well, yeah, some changes maybe had to be made, but not the ones they did. And yeah, it'd serve him mate if this fella turns up in a turn as in a 3-horse race at like 1-8 or something like. I don't know. I need to see the terms and conditions. I've not seen them yet. It might be a mile off, but yeah, we'll see. But yeah, the horse, he looks a monster, and we haven't seen anything to suggest he's not here, I don't think. Give a quick mention to the 3-mile Grade 2 Florida Pearl. Stellar Story beats Search for Glory a short head. Just on the off, I just had a small bit on Search for Glory here. It was that sort of weekend for me. I thought 9-4 he went out to on Betfair. I thought a bit of value. Yeah, as soon as Stellar Story got to the front, he kind of started looking round. He doesn't like being in front. His jockey said that, didn't he? He doesn't do too much in front. He jumped really well, I thought. He jumped fine, apart from taking off a mile too early, 6 out in light, just landed on it. But apart from that, he jumped well. Between the last two, I thought he would beat, but Search for Glory just sort of ploughed through the last. And he held on by an ever-diminishing short head at the line. Search for Glory is just an handicapper, but he's looking, he's kind of one that seems to be running on his merits, so he may find life tough. It could be hard to place, but he always seems to run his race like, he's admirable in that way. Yeah. I mean, Stellar Story did well here. He was conceding race fitness, and it didn't suit him, the race, being out in front. He was kind of one of our heroes last year, weren't he, when he took out that Albert Bartlett. He's 20-1 now for the Browns. I wouldn't put you off that. I tried to be a bit clever maybe with this horse. I thought he'd kind of get beat a few times this season and we'd be getting a decent price. He would want to thought close to the time. We'd be able to back this fella at like 33s or something, provided there were no Ballyburns and that in it. Yeah, I've said a few times it could turn into a war of attrition, that Browns this year, and that would be right up his street, wouldn't it? Albert Bartlett winner, stays forever. He ticks a lot of boxes, and yeah, he's going to be a big contender for that Browns. He goes to Leopardstown next at Christmas, the 3-mile race there, and I'm kind of hoping Willie might have something in there, a bit flash to put him in his place, and can keep that price high. But you will see what lines up there. Right then. 2-mile Grade 1 Morgiana. The Brighter Days Ahead beat Stateman 3/4 of a length here, and they were 13 lengths clear of Winter Fog. She led at a good pace, sort of 4 or 5 clear for much of the race. Jesus, it's coming down now. She flattened the 4th, clipped 3 out. On the run to 2 out, Stateman closed, kind of sitting on her tail. She kicked off the bend though. Stateman come to challenge. He kind of produced just this little burst of speed, didn't he, which took him into the lead. But he kind of fluffed the last. Brighter Days Ahead drew up sides again and just seemed to kind of out-battle him on the run into the line. Maybe out-battle's a bit harsh, but you know what I mean, that's how it kind of appeared. This were a brilliant ride from Jack. He set off to make it a test and expose the lack of fitness in Stateman. This were a fine plan and it were brilliantly executed. Yeah, she's the first horse, isn't she, to down State Man on home soil. You know, he rode her. Oh, my notes are a bit of a mess here. Yeah, he rode her to make a race fitness count, and he did. But she's still only 5. She's undefeated, isn't she? Bar that second in the mares, where she was still came out best at the weights, and the race were a mess, weren't it? You know, I've loved this horse. I have since that first bumper I saw her in. You know I do. I've followed her everywhere, but I dismissed the chances here. No, you know, right-handed 2 mile State Man. I just thought, no. She's still improving, say she's only 5, rising 6, and we don't know where that may end. State Man, he's kind of reached his ceiling, haven't we? We know kind of where we are with State Man, you know. After our last race, I thought Gordon were mad talking about the champion hurdle. I dismissed it, didn't I? I didn't believe him. And I don't believe him now that he's talking mare's hurdle either. So I'm right somewhere. I think he's just being clever here, kind of talking champion hurdle down and taking the pressure off. She's 8-1 for the champion hurdle. I mean, Connell or no Connell, this is going to be some champion hurdle. Almost, I mean, I love to see, everyone loves to see a constitutional just wipe the floor with everything. But if he's not in the champion hurdle, it's going to be a hell of a race, you know. Maybe he'd add to it, you know, but I don't know if we got a fully rolling, rocking constitutional, or all these other horses going to turn up, or will some maybe go mares, you know. With or without him, it's going to be a good race, and without him, we've kind of got like State Man, Sergino, Lossiemouth, Golden Ace, Bright Days Ahead, you know, the other fella in the fight, Mystical Power. Cheltenham should suit Brighter Days Ahead, you know, being left-handed with that hill. And we're probably going to have Bird at Road there, maybe, who would put the pace to the race and kind of make it a true test. To me, it's kind of clear now. It is. You know, I was shocked. She'd have looked some bet at 8s in the mare's chase, wouldn't she? Jesus. But I think it's clear now why they've kept her over hurdles, and I don't think they've kept her over hurdles to be taken out a mare's hurdle. I don't. There was a bit of talk, weren't they, about Ballyburn emulating Dawn Run. Yeah, look at this mare. Yeah. I know they've never said that, but yeah. I underestimated her here. I won't be making that mistake again. I won't. I think she's got a fair old shout in champion hurdle, and 8-1's no bad price either. It could be a cracking race this year. The only, I know it were a mess last year's race. I wish Jack had rode her like this there, you know, you'd imagine she'd have won. As I mentioned before, the only little niggle I've got is a brother with Marty Potter, and he didn't like Cheltenham, and that Cheltenham run, easily forgivable, forgave her it at the time, but it's just that little niggle there, you know, but bar that, yeah. State Man, he'll come on plenty for this, won't he? That little change of gear he showed just before the last were impressive. Imagine with race fitness now, he could maybe maintain that change of gear for longer. You know, it should be a good rematch if they meet again at Leopardstown. But Cheltenham in March, you know, so if she is fine at Cheltenham, and there's no reason why she shouldn't be, you know, Stateman's not as good at Cheltenham, I don't think. I think with that hill, you know, greater emphasis on stamina, getting a lead, I think she beats Stateman. I do. I think Lossiemouth beats Stateman, but we kind of know Brighter Days Ahead does now, don't we? Lossiemouth, the Stone Bruce, yeah, we'll see. I think we might get to see her against Teapot this weekend. But yeah, I'm just rambling on right here, aren't I? It was some race though, weren't it? It were, and much to ponder. Right then, Sunday. Yeah, apologies, I were getting short of time when I got to Sunday. Utoxeter, Shadow Bob, he's in the recycle bin. Don't know, just I know it was first run of the season, but he had a few issues last year, didn't he? And you know, I'm not sure he's going to be the horse we were kind of hoping for. But yeah, I know he shouldn't write one off after his first run. But Jesus, this didn't look great, did it? So he's in recycle bin. Right then, Punchestown. Say I haven't gone into too much depth on these now. We're running short of time. And 2 mile 5.5 maiden hurdle. The big Westerner beat Argento by a length. She don't look much like a mare, does she? She don't. She's huge. She's a fine big mare with loads of scope. She could possibly find herself in the Mares Novice this year, but really it's all about next year for her, I think. She clearly stays very well, and she'd be kind of already shortlisted for that 2026 Mares Chase. If Brighter Days has took out a champion hurdle, she could possibly bump into her there. Champion hurdle winning a Mares Chase, I don't know, but they took that back in Turners away, hadn't they? Otherwise that would be it, like. Gold Cup year after for maybe. Say stuff that goes on in this head. Argento Boy, yeah, he ran well in second. Like a lot of Willies this time of year, you'd imagine he'll come on a lot for this, and he can make up into an Albert Bartlett contender. Son of Anarchy, a little weak in the market, weren't he? He ran well to a point and just kind of faded fairly tamely approaching the last. He'll come on for this. He will. If he's quite the horse I were hoping he were, probably not, you know. But he's another one you look at him and, you know, he should make a much better chaser than Hurdler, like, you know. He's a fine big chasing type. Right then. Very much the highlight of the weekend, this. What a race this were. 2 mile 3.5, grade 1 John Durkin. Factor File beat Spillane's Tower half a length. We galloping another 2.25 lengths back in third. Now, I hadn't really broke this race down. I was a bit short on time, and to be fair, I wouldn't do it justice. You just watch this race, you know. Yeah. Fantastic race, this. It were. Factor File, he was travelling noticeably well on that turn for home, weren't he? I thought, oh, he looks the winner here. He joined galloping at the last, went on. Spillane's Tower charged at him after the last, didn't he? But he kind of got to his quarters, and Factor File were always holding him then, weren't he? And he won this snug. He did. There's loads left in the tank with this horse. He's some horse. I mean, to take this out on his 5th chase start, wow. We don't know his ceiling yet. He's just getting going, isn't he? He's just beat the best here. He'll come on a ton for it. He will. I thought he'd need this, and I think he did. You know. prospect, this fella is, really. Spillane's Tower. James Joseph Mangan. Wow. He's ran a screamer here, hasn't he? He has, on his seasonal return. He's clearly improved again. He's only 6, you know. This were a hell of a run. He'll come on loads for this. He just said he's only just got him on grass the last week or so. He said, you know. Some horses here they were. Galloping came 3rd. Very possibly he might come on the most of all. He did have that little setback, didn't he? He was ridden positively here to make use of that stamina. He's ran a blinder. He has. The flame still burns brightly with this fella. He's the king, and they've all got to get to him in March. They have. But wow, he's got some pretenders here, you know. If these front 3 clash at Leopardstown at Christmas, that's all your Christmases at once, isn't it? That'll be some race to savour. This year, honestly, like I say, that Champion Hurdle looks cracking. I mean, you look at this race, and to be honest, we could have had in this race, I'd suggest, the Savills winner, King George winner, maybe Irish Gold Cup winner, Ryanair winner, and Grand National winner, all here. Oh, maybe. Spillane's, he's shorter for the Ryanair than he is the Gold Cup. You'd imagine JP may split him, but at the same time, you'd like to see him being given his chance at Christmas, and we'll see. You never know if he comes home stronger than Factor File, you know. We don't know until we see it, do we? But yeah, 8-1 for the Ryanair. We got a bit of 40s, haven't we, for this fella for Gold Cup, and that might make sense to have a little bit on him at the Ryanair at 8s. I'm still pondering a lot of this stuff, but it might do. Fast or slow? I'd say he was the one kind of disappointing horse here, although he's still, you know, finished 4th, hadn't he? And the first 4 were fairly clear here. But if you'd have told me before the race he weren't going to finish in first 3, I wouldn't have believed you. You know, nailed on for first 3. Martin getting him in King George, this guy, because to me he can't turn it round with the 3 of them in front of him, all 3 of them, you know, in a Savills at Christmas. He did say, I think, he just picked up a bang, and you wonder if that's affected him. He said he had small tissue damage. He said it was minor, and hopefully that's nothing. Hopefully it's not. And if he runs anywhere at Christmas, it may well be the King George, you know. I suspect it will. So we may get a run from on it. I mean, I wouldn't say he's definitely going to win it, but you look at the race, it just bother you slightly that I think he were a bit below his best here, you know. But he might not need to be too much at his best to win that. We'll see anyway, you know. We're hoping they're still clinging to that straw, aren't we, mate? Journey with Me. Yeah, he's probably a grade 2 horse, isn't he? Like most sane people probably thought he were. Like, you know. Yeah. He's still run well here though, and he'll pick races up. He will. This was some race, weren't it? You know, he just got found out in this elite company. I know the way you're thinking. Yeah, fine start for the National. That it were. Right then. Often I find in, like, when everything's going well, it's all fine, isn't it? And to me, when you get something wrong, I always ask, what did I do wrong there? You know, sometimes you've done nothing wrong at all. It really is. It's like, you know, we're very sort of defined by results, aren't we? I guess. And it's like, If you win, oh, that were right, and if you lose, you were wrong. It's not always like that, is it? It isn't like, I mean, for example, if you fancy something at like tens, you think the favourite's a bit iffy, you back your horse at tens, it's like 20 clear coming to last and takes a tumble. The guys that have backed the 6-4 shot, are they right because they've won, or were you right? So there is a bit of that, but also, yeah, you do make plenty of mistakes, don't you? I do anyway. So when I lose, I always think, what have I done here? And that's how you learn. Read the market right. I'm kind of good at that. That's from doing the trading for a few years. They all crashed in price, didn't they? But we didn't read the race right. I didn't read the race right. It's a nice structure, isn't they, over the jumps? It's probably the same on the flat. I haven't watched it flat long anymore. But yeah, I guess it's the same there. You get like the handicaps, aren't you? And you got like class 6, class 5, class 4, class 3, class 2, class 1. Then you get your listed race, and then you've got your grade 3, your grade 2, your grade 1. There's always a ceiling, isn't there? And there's always a bit further to go up that ladder until you get to grade 1. And there's nowhere else to go. There's no ceiling anymore, is there? And these horses that get to grade 1, and they're just better than all the other grade 1 horses. They can do anything, and we've seen that here. I'd suggest that when you get into this elite exalted company, the cream always rises, doesn't it? I kind of made the same mistake in the Arkle last year. I couldn't have Gaelic Warrior, and it's all right, these intricacies about, left-handed, right-handed, distance, going, track, it works, it does when you're studying the racing. But not when you're dealing with these fellas, like I say, the cream rises, and because they're that good, because they're that much better than the rest, they can come down, they can go that way, they can go that way, it can be good, it can be heavy, they just transcend it all, I mean, think of the best horses you've seen, like a Desi or, a Corto Star, and these sort of horses, 2 mile, 3 mile soft, heavy, good, it don't fucking matter, does it? They're that good, and I think that's what we've seen here. We backed Factafal and Spillanes for the Gold Cup, didn't we? Because we thought, wow, look at these horses, these could be anything, and they proved it here. But I just got lost a little bit, maybe overthinking things, I don't know, overcomplicating things. When you get to races like this that just look outstanding, you just want to back the best horse in the race and forget about everything else. Yeah, I mean, you could say Gaelic, the galloping is the best, but you know what I mean, don't you? Maybe you do anyway, I don't know. It's just kind of what I took from that anyway. Performance of the week, I thought this was going to be hard. It was actually quite easy in the end. Number 1, Factafile. He's a monster, isn't he? He's a monster. How could he be? Don't know, but it's going to be fun to find out, isn't it? Second, Bright Days Ahead. Yeah, she's first horse to downstate man on his home turf, and she's not even made number 1. That's how good the racing were this weekend. Yeah, but she's special. She is special. All these horses are, I think. Number 3, even though he got beat, Spillane's Tower. What a race! What a run that were! Wow. Yeah, there's plenty to mull over. In terms of bets, ante-post for Cheltenham. I'd suggest those 3 in the stayers warrant some thought. Champion Hurdle, Bright Days Ahead, 8-1. That's very fair, I'd say. It is. She's not going mares. I don't believe it. I don't. Ryanair, yes, Bellane's Tower 8s, especially having the 40-1 ticket there for the Gold Cup. That might be well worth, you know, a few points. One more as well, and it just escapes me now. I didn't write down, but yeah, there's some things to ponder there. The bumper winner were very impressive for Gordon. Not even wrote it down. Calypso something or other. He did say after that it was going to be next year's horse. I think he may have something better for the bumper, and we're going to see it this weekend. I think he's got two contenders for that. He Can't Dance and Marjack's Hill. All the chat seems to be it's this Marjack's Hill. Receipt declared for that bumper at Fairy House. That's his bumper horse. He may run them both, and then we kind of need to see which one Swan's on, don't we? But I'd suggest whichever one you get them on side. If you're not backed them already, especially with that cash out facility, you can do. Marjack's Hill's gone from 33s into around about 20s now, and I think He Can't Dance is around the same price. One of those is Gordon's bumper horse, I'm nearly sure of it, and we'll see it this weekend, so look out for that. The Drinmore, I mean, this Fairy House meeting is going to be belting, it is. The Drinmore, as I mentioned previous, look out for Hartwood there. If they price that up and it looks like he's running, I don't care how good these one race novices are, they're not beating Hartwood. I don't think that's a big ask for a proper novice, like a proper novice to beat, because he's not, is he? It's wrong and it needs sorting out, but we'll see what he gets put in at if they go there. Oh yeah, Willie's trainer file's out today. I haven't even had time to look at it yet, but I guess there'll be plenty in there to ponder. We got the Hennessy this weekend. Not the race it were. It isn't, is it really? So I'd liked if they'd got Iroko primed for that, I think, you know, but no. We got the fighting fifth, haven't we? Yeah, Sergino. We ain't got Constitutional Alvary anymore. I think maybe Christmas time. Maybe. But yeah, we have got Sergino and Mystical Power, so that should be interesting. So yeah, cracking racing this weekend. If I can get to do a video, I will, but it's unlikely, I'll be honest with you. Not Friday morning anyway. But if I sort of back something for Cheltenham, I'll let you know. It may be just like a brief 10-minute video or something, some way along the way. Yeah, and that's all that. Yeah, the good word. We're in it now, aren't we? What a season it looks like being. So thanks for your time then. I do appreciate it. All the best, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.